And when you take the time to really get to know the person that is on the inside and realize there is some compatibility here, there are some things that we have in common. Yes, opposites do attract. And there are some things that you may have differing from each other. But the vast majority, there is going to be times that you can communicate with one another and be on the same page, whereas the one person may even finish your sentence before you have a chance to finish it. And you're both in step and in sync with one another. There may be times that you may be thinking something and that person has already communicated that to you. And now you find that you're in the self-same place. There is compatibility, not only with conversation, but with things that you like doing, even down to intimacy. And even down to how you embrace and how you handle your personal affairs and business. You will be in sync with one another. And we need to teach this to our young people, that this is a major principle of a long marriage and a successful marriage. It's when you can find somebody that is truly compatible with you, but the beauty of that person is the inward person of the heart, where even your family and friends can get along with that person and they see no fault in them. Yes, you may have your difficulties in time, but that person will guard your heart in the matters of your heart, and will not maliciously and deceitfully share things about you that should not be shared, because it's nobody's business. But it's up to you to work it out, because once that information is shared, then people begin to see you in a completely different light. But the purpose of a marriage is to protect one another. And you find that as you go through the book of Esther, that they protected one another. They protected one another. Xerxes protected Esther from a plot and a scheme that was about to happen, and Esther protected him from even being assassinated by two of the eunuchs that worked in his kingdom. So marriage should be to the point that it's a wall of protection for the two of you. And if that wall of protection has been compromised, then it opens up the way for the enemy to come in and destroy you and defeat you and bring confusion into a situation where there really should be peace, where there should be a situation where you should be working it out amongst yourselves. But now the enemy has gained a foothold and there's major third-party influence, and now it cannot be salvaged. So now it has fallen apart because the mouth, the tongue, that little member refused to protect and to guard and to defend the other party. And that's what marriage really is. That's why the scriptures say that when God created Eve and took her from the rib of Adam, when Adam awoke out of his sleep, he realized that this is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. So there are times that you may marry someone and you may find out that you're not compatible, and that marriage ends. And there is life after divorce, let me tell you. Because of the fact that you've gone through something devastating in a relationship does not mean that you still do not have a purpose in life. Never let people demean you or despise you because you have had some events in your life that were less than favorable or honorable. Because God still has a purpose in store for you. So let us get into the book of Esther. Esther, the 2nd chapter, looking at the 8th verse and the 9th verse. So it came to pass, when the king's commandment and his decrees was heard, and when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan the palace, to the custody of Haggai, that Esther was brought also into the king's house, to the custody of Haggai, keeper of the women. So here was a man that was a eunuch. And for those of you that don't know what a eunuch is, this is a person that was a eunuch either from birth or may have been castrated, or he has no sexual desires whatsoever. So he is given a position of trust to actually handle these women and to give them instructions on how to prepare themselves in order to come into the presence of the king. And the thing here that we can extract from these verses is this: you have to properly prepare yourself before you can go into the presence of the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, and even our God, because he has selected you, or is in the selection process of using you. But now there are some things that you must do to purify yourself in order to be used by him and to be selected by him, which means that you must now pay strict attention to the instructions that are given to you. The minute instructions that carries much weight and much detail, and you must put yourself in the place to adhere to what's being told you. Because every instruction that is given to you by the man or the woman of God, or what God himself speaks to your spirit, is actually another point in your hat or on your marking pad to get you closer to fulfilling the will of God. And you must follow the instruction. So the instruction first here is to follow the instruction of one who is truly sold out to the purposes of the King to lead and guide you. That could be your pastor. That could be someone that is giving you wise counsel. That could be someone in your life that knows the word of the Lord and knows prayer, that has sought the Lord and has come back from the Lord and has instructions for you that you should follow. Or you reading the word of the Lord and then you taking that word and pattern your life after that word. So you must follow the instruction of the one that is appointed to lead and guide you into truth. Because that person, based upon their lifestyle, has no hidden agenda. This is a person that is sold out solely to following the instructions of the king and to be in the king's service. They have no other purpose. They have sold their lives for this purpose. Sold, S-O-W-E-D, sold as in a seed being planted into the ground. They have died unto their own agenda and to their own purposes. And their love is solely that the king's commandments and his ways and his wisdom be exalted. And that you come into the understanding about what you're about to get yourself into. Never enter into any relationship in ignorance. Look out for all those things and those signs and all those things that will let you know that you're either on the right path or the wrong path. And when you're following God, there will always be signs that indicate that you are on the right path and that you're following the right thing. Because one of the things is when you receive favor that is sustained over a period of time, and there is no negativity associated with it, and there is no ill feeling in your heart or in your belly or in your soul or in your spirit, or has been communicated to you in an ill way, then you know that you are on the road to the right path. But when you see things that don't agree with you or disagree, or you feel as though the person is trying to gain an advantage over you illy or wrongly, and you see all the warning signs on the road to that you're progressing on, that should give you indication that you're on the wrong road. It is time to get off. Pay attention to the stop signs, the warning signs, the yield signs, the green light, the red light, the yellow light, and it should tell you pause. Even if you have to separate yourself from the situation for a moment, you need a pause. Because you need to be able to sit down and ascertain where you are and to come up with a plan to move forward. Is this the right path or this is the wrong path? But trust here in the Lord means that I relinquish myself to trust you to where you're going to take me to. And I see no ill in the progress that I'm moving in to get to that point. So here Hagar, the keeper of the woman and the maiden, and it says that it pleased him. Talking about Hagar with Esther. When you are following the right path, you will please God. And you will certainly please the man and woman of God that is leading you. Because they will find pleasure in you because they see the obedience of God being formed in you to get you to your next destination. Now understand, pastors, there may be people getting tongue-tied. There may be people coming into your congregation that will never stay there for an infinity or for a long period of time. They may just come for a short period of time to get what they need and move on. But you have made an impartation into their spirit that will be beneficial to the kingdom of Jesus Christ. Now here, Esther pleased Hagar, the eunuch, and listen, and she obtained kindness of him. When you are pleasant to the person that is leading you, you will obtain favor. And they will bring you into a place that they will begin to share knowledge with you that they can't share with everybody else, because not everybody else is on the same sheet of music as you are. And you also will begin to obtain favor from the Lord. He will begin to bless you in ways that you have thought of and have not thought of. And he will bring things into your life that will be a blessing and not a curse to you, because he finds that you are pleasing unto him. And she obtained kindness, and he speedily gave her things for purification. When you understand that God is leading you on the correct path, he will give you instructions to purify your soul and your spirit and your heart and your mind and your life, and your flesh will begin to be purified in his presence, because he will speedily give you what you need to get over. You say, I'm struggling with alcohol. He'll give you speedily what you need to deliver you. I'm struggling with drugs. He'll give you speedily what you need, that you won't have to go through a methadone program, so to speak. But he'll deliver you instantaneously from whatever that is that has crippled you or marred you or has hindered you or prevented you from coming to complete and total deliverance, because he sees that you're now delighting yourself in him and that you are honoring him with everything that is within you as best as you know how. You're giving him everything that is within you, yet still with your struggles. Even though you still have that struggle, you still persist to come to him. You still persist to get up in his face and seek him. You still honor him with your life, because you know that there's a stronghold within you that needs to be broken, and only God himself can break it. But you keep pressing forth like the woman with the issue of blood. After 13 long years, she pressed her way in to touch the hem of his garment, and immediately the scriptures say her issue stopped. So you got to know your times and your seasons in God. Even with your issues, still proceed to follow him and know that he is still working on your behalf. With such things as belong to her, and 7 maidens that were given to her. 7 maidens means that it's been completed. 7 is always the number of resting. It's all the day that God rested was the 7th day after he had created everything in both heaven and earth. He rested on the 7th day. He gave her a Sabbath of rest. He gave her 7 maids that will work on her, work with her, and bring her to her completion till she finds that final resting place in her purpose. When you have found your purpose, a rest comes to your soul. And I'm telling you this because now I'm experiencing a rest, because I found my purpose. Although I've known it for years, I found the resting place of where I should be in God. And now there is rest, and there is no longer that struggle that came from the hand of the enemy.